When did you first notice something was wrong? Well, notice, it must have been 5 or 6 weeks. I could give you a date if I had to, but then as soon as I did notice, I realised something had been wrong much further back than that. How much further back? Oh, a year and a half. About the time your other trouble started to become acute, in fact. Yes, there must be a link. By way of answer, the doctor gave a quiet sigh. His patient, a round-faced, bespectacled man called Jake Richardson, was left to wonder whether this meant that the link was all too grimly real, that only a fool would suppose one existed, or that the task of explanation seemed altogether daunting. Jake didn't wonder for long. To have gone on doing so would have been to concede the doctor, Kerno by name, too much importance. When asked why he persistently went to a man he had so little time for, Jake would say that disliking your GP was a good insurance against getting dependent on him. Now Dr. Kerno shook his head a few times and swallowed. In the end he said, "There's nothing I can do for you." "Oh, but surely you must have it." "No, the only way is for me to send you to someone." "Well, that was rather what I—" "Excuse me a second, would you please?" Funny how it's got ruder to say please than not, Jake thought to himself, as the doctor began to turn slowly through a small leather-bound book on his desk. He seemed to find its contents of unusual interest, even novelty. One page in particular absorbed his attention for longer than would have been necessary if he had been doing no more than reading the whole of it with care. After this interval, he lifted his head abruptly and looked Jake straight in the eye for a quarter of a minute or so. Then he returned his gaze to the book before him, keeping it fixed there while he reached for his telephone. It had buttons instead of a dial. "Dr. Rosenberg, Dr. Kerno here." This information was enough to provoke a considerable speech from the other end, though Jake couldn't make out anything of what was said. "I have a patient you might be able to do something for," said Kerno at last. "I have him here, in the room with me, name of Richardson, J.C. Richardson. Well, you'll remember the Mr. Pickering I sent you last autumn." "Oh, did he? Well, I'm sorry to hear that." "Yes, I'm afraid so." What Kerno heard next made him stare at Jake again, but more consideringly, look him over rather than look at him. "Certainly not, no question of anything like that." Kerno's face changed, except for the direction and quality of his stare, and he started nodding emphatically. "Oh, yes. Very much so, yes. No, perfect description." "Oh, really? You will? Well, I'll ask him." Kerno arranged an appointment for the following week, listened with a grave, responsible expression to a final passage of words from not all that far, actually, just a couple of 100 yards up Harley Street, and rang off. "A very able man, Dr. Rosenberg, very able." "Good," said Jake. "Rosenberg, presumably some sort of— Well, would you excuse me a second, please?" Kerno lifted a switch on what he no doubt called his intercom, which had started to hum hoarsely. "Yes, what is it?" "Sheikh Kwamat bin Azat Osaka is here," said a version of a girl's voice. "We'll bring him in 30 seconds precisely, and cash as he leaves, of course," said Kerno, getting up. "Well, Mr. Richardson, you'll be letting me know how things go. Insides behaving themselves?" "Well, mustn't complain." "That's right. No pain in the abdomen?" "Just a twinge or so, nothing out of the way." "Urine satisfactorily pale?" "Yes, thank you." "Feces satisfactorily dark?" "Yes. What about the hemorrhoids?" "You mean piles? I haven't got piles," said Jake truthfully. "I don't have them." The doctor chuckled and shrugged his shoulders, tolerant of his patient's nervous or whimsical avoidance of the topic. "Getting plenty of exercise?" "I thought I was supposed to take it easy." "Mild exercise, walking, gardening. Didn't you say you gardened?" "Yes, I did. I do." "Well, keep on with it. It can't fail to do you any good, whatever's wrong with you." "Thank you, Dr. Kerno."